know that there's many excellent videos on this topic. However, I figured I might as well jump in and share my opinion. As you saw in the title of the video, I'll be discussing the issues of misogyny in fandom, especially within the male-on-male shipping fandom. Furthermore, when it comes to female characters, fanbase tends to hold them to a higher standard compared to their male counterparts. We have seen repeatedly across various female characters, people often argue that women are undeveloped, which leads them to solely focus on men characters only, and same with MLM together. This reasoning can be flawed because there are many strong female characters in media that are developed. Yet, since they're women, they often get overlooked. In contrast, some male characters may have development or little screen time, yet fans can create backstories for them. Unfortunately, this type can never go to women. So, what exactly is misogyny? It's basically any type of hatred towards women. A lot of times can be by men, and especially because we live in a patriarchy, male dominated world. So, how exactly does this relate to fandoms? Well, a lot of times, sadly, women are victims of misogyny, and we'll be talking more about that. Yes, I am a black woman. So when it comes to fan bases, it tends to be harder on black female characters. I've seen how vicious they can be since I was a teenager witnessing Allura from Voltron and a young adult with Mel from Arcane. They say many things to villainize them because of men and being in a way of MLM. Like these people are crazy. The argument that Mel is undeveloped can't be applied onto her as she's one of the most developed characters in the show. Even though Arcane failed in some instances by placing her somewhere else in season 2 for majority of the time, which is a complete discussion on its own, she still has a lot of significant character development. Nothing less, she faces a lot of slander because she tends to be in a way of a non-canon MLM pairing. They do that stuff to Mel's character all because she's dating Jace, which is actually ridiculous. Whenever a black woman tends to be a love interest, they try to villainize her all the time. Now, when it comes to Amber, she doesn't face anything regarding MLM. It mainly stems from people misinterpreting her character. I stand on this hill that Amber had every right to act the way she did when it came to Mark. A lot of times, people love to villainize women, but especially black women, when they show realistic emotions. She also comes from a place, too, that she was originally white. So now that she was made black in the show, that increases her chance of facing more hate. But again, in the show, she deserves way better. She was the only reason why I watched it in the first place, but I dropped it after hearing that she was disposable. This shows how they hold a black woman to a standard they expect her to meet. Any little thing that she does is met with slander in a way that would not happen if she was a white man. It just sucks though about how a lot of black female characters has to be meet with misogyny just because of the base of their skin tone. They practically can't do anything without people trying to villainize or demonize them over any little decision or anything that they do. The argument that frustrates me is that people blaming a female character for being undeveloped, but not the male creator who tends to make them that way because of their misogyny. Take Sakura, for instance. She's such a beautiful concept and so much potential in the show. Of course, her accomplishments can't ever be ignored given the materials she had to work with. However, Kishimoto did her a disservice, and while Kishimoto treated majority of the female characters poorly, making her the biggest target in the entire anime community. I do believe there is an interview that I can't find at the moment, Kishimoto admitting that he doesn't know how to write female characters, which was shocking but not surprising. Kyrie is a character who's often neglected in the plot and constantly blamed for issues that isn't her fault. She is also a victim of a man writing her character. Despite this, she accomplished significant things in the story, such as saving Sora and finding Riku and many other things. Her accomplishments should never be overlooked, but they often are due to people based against her, and she is someone who's in a way and also a big victim of MLM shipping. Also, yes, some women are poorly written, and while they do deserve criticism for it, they also shouldn't be demonized or called misogynistic names constantly. There's many male characters across various of different media that has issues the same as women characters. Yet because they happen to be men, people can disregard everything about them. I don't like how people constantly claims that there's no develop woman characters in media. In fact, they are. If you're someone who watches anime, please stop limiting yourself to only consuming action shonen. Yes, male writers needs to learn how to portray women better there, but there are also shoujo and josei that centers around women, with many female mangaka knowing how to develop them well. I don't think it's fair to shame women who loves undeveloped female characters. Many people loves undeveloped male characters and can create so much with them. But suddenly when it comes to women, everything shuts down and she deserves everything and hate comes her way. If you guys can go out of your way to create things for male characters, then why can't women do the same and like these undeveloped female characters? What is demonization? To demonize someone is to characterize them as evil or wicked, whether or not they are. We have seen in fan bases they aren't friendly towards female characters who are love interests of their favorite male characters and who are shipped with other men. A lot of times these women becomes targets and face considerable demonization for this. Examples include Ochako to Bakugo X Deku, Allura to Keith and Lance, Mel to Jason Victor, Amy to Shadow and Sonic, and Sakura to Sasuke and Naruto. The list goes on. They use the woman as the way to humiliate them, creating cheating fics and fan arts, making harvesting organ fics about Mel, and it's super disgusting, and I'm not kidding. They portray them as raging homophobes, mischaracterize them, and being outright misogynistic towards them. It's frustrating how internalized misogyny is prevalent in male on male shipping spaces, where it's often women doing these terrible things to other women characters. Because what exactly do you gain from this? Many times people see women as not characters but obstacles, which is annoying. It's funny how people have all this time to attend these shows, games, and movies that lack or doesn't have gay representation. Yes, slander woman love interest for these non-canon MLM. Still, they never want to pick themselves up to actually support gay media created by gay people. Nobody says that you can't enjoy fan canon ships, but it does become a problem when a woman gets caught in the crossfire. It's not the female love interest's fault that your non canon MLM ship did not end up being implied. It's not her fault simply because she happened to be with your favorite male character. Leave her alone. It's not her fault that your ship didn't become canon. A lot of times, it's crazy to me that you guys have all this pent up anger towards her but barely to the creator sometimes. Now, let's discuss the demonization of the lesbian sexuality in media. People often weaponize the lesbian sexuality because if they dislike a woman when she's in a way of their MLM, it's never out of genuine care or love for the sexuality. Most of the time, you see that they rarely ever discuss her when they portray her in headcanons, but instead use it as a shield to avoid being called out for their misogyny. However, using it this way is both misogynistic and lesbophobic, as no one's sexuality should be used in a way just because you don't like a woman character because she's in a way of your MLM shipping. This is such an issue too because I would like you just saying that you dislike her character instead of hiding behind someone else's sexuality, thinking you won't get called out when we see you being misogynistic towards her. Just like leave them alone and move on. This also tends to affect spaces that focuses on women like WLW. There are amazing shifts, but after much involvement in fandoms, they often tend to be disregarded by MLM. In my controversial opinion on WLW shipping within fandoms, some people tend to appreciate WLW ships mainly for the aesthetic appeal. However, when it comes down to support it by including creating fan fiction and fan art, it's often lacking. This is a significant issue because some argue that WLW is dull or lacks substance, suggesting that it's bland and unexciting. This leads to people becoming disengaged from the genre as a whole, which is frustrating because it's not true. There are plenty of incredible stories, shows, and material from WLW. These claims that is not true can be found in MLM content, but because a lot of people are male centered and focus on that, they tend to ignore it. Now, the issue when it comes to fan fiction sites like IO3, when you look at statistics, WLW constantly ranks at the very bottom compared to MLM and FLM. For instance, in the stats for the top ships in 2024, WLW barely makes the list, highlighting the impact on WLW spaces and the lack of engagement with WLW. This suggests that people often lack genuine concern for women, focusing on picking apart everything when it comes to WLW. I also want to make it clear that this is not me shaming people for shipping MLM because, again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's mainly about calling out the base surrounding the community as there's a significant misogyny problem within. Sometimes one must ask, why are they so dismissive of a female character and to only wanting to focus on MLM and disregard her altogether? You know that if you say that you dislike this men and woman ship, then why don't you ship and focus on the WLW with her in it? But you already know why. Many arguments can be easily disproven. I'll be fine if you just said that you don't like a female character instead of inventing reasons to justify shipping only male on male and focusing on men. Even with me talking about the male on male problems within the fan base, it's not only just them too. It's mostly like the general audience of men that comes hating a female character for being expressive and showing realistic emotions. These are problems that I witnessed ever since I was a kid, and I wish there were healthier discussions around the female character. That concludes my video. Basically, it's just me mostly ranting about like my favorite characters because sometimes I'm just so tired of hearing people talk and there's so much double standard when it comes to women. So I just only wanted to rant on the internet. All right, that'll be all. Bye.